Good morning. Welcome to day one of our 30-day challenge. And this challenge is going to be different from most challenges that we've done or that you've done. And I know that because I've spoken to a lot of you guys, and this is a shift. Most challenges are built around doing, achievement, lose the weight, make the money, build the business, find the wife, find the husband, hit the goal. That's not what this challenge is about. You can still have those goals, okay? But this challenge is not about getting anything. It is purely about being, okay? So for the next 30 days, it's all about practicing becoming that person who is in a state of alignment, who is grounded, who is at peace, irrespective of whether the goal comes, whether it's delayed, or whether it never arrives. And I think the confusion here is we become passive, or we just stop pursuing excellence, and that's not what this is. What this is, it just means that our identity is no longer held hostage by outcomes. Our emotions are no longer determined by what happens. Because a lot of us spend our lives thinking that peace exists on the other side of success, on the other side of achievement. And we had this conversation last night. If given the option between peace and success, most people think they can get the success and then the peace comes. They have the I'll be happy when syndrome. And it's this fallacy that I'll be happy when I get a bigger house. I'll be happy when I get a better spouse. I'll be happy when I get a nice car. I'll be happy when this happens, or I'll be confident, or I'll be free when all these things happen. And these are all outside of us. And when the peace, when your stability depends on circumstances, that's not peace. All that is a temporary emotional reaction to conditions that are favorable to you. That's all that is. And so when those conditions change, your peace changes. And at that point, you're essentially just a remote control. You're like a remote control. You can just be changed. And so the person that we're becoming during this challenge, they understand something very different. They understand that all of these things that we are in pursuit of, they don't make us. Those things are just an expression of something deeper inside of us. And in the Bible, Jesus promised us that if we seek first the kingdom of God, all those other things, they'll be added. And I truly believe that. I know that most of us think that it's about the money, about the girl, the boy, the man, the woman. And those things are good. You'll get those things. But first, we're going to seek peace. Because the client is not the source. The opportunity is not the source. The evidence that you see in the bank account is not the source. God is the source. Life is the source. Whatever language you want to use. And that is infinitely larger than whatever you're going through right now. Your conditions, the bank account, the balance. And so over the next 30 days, our assignment is very simple. Very simple, but also very challenging. And it's to notice the areas in life where you're fighting. Notice those places, those times in life where you're resisting. Where life has presented you something and you're resisting it. You're arguing with reality. Notice where you're demanding that life has to look a certain way before you allow yourself to feel peace. And so every time that we notice this, once we notice it, then we practice the allowing. You allow the moment. You allow the discomfort. You allow the pain. You allow the uncertainty. You allow everything that comes your way. And this is the ultimate sign of trust. And again, it doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean lowering your standards. It means fully showing up, but releasing the demand that everything has to conform or be the way that you want it to be. And I think the greatest transformation is not about circumstances outside of us changing. The transformation happens when we stop fighting reality and just accept it, trusting that God knows best. And so today's question is, what would I do differently today if I stopped trying to force things and just participated fully in what is already being in front of me, being placed in front of me? Because remember, we're not here to force outcomes. We're here to be active participants in faith in how life unfolds by trusting the process, releasing resistance, and just allowing. And when you hear that allowing, I think some people are still confused by that. So let's be clear here on what allowing is and how it's different than trusting. Because trusting and allowing, they seem like they're the same thing, but I think they're related, but they are distinct. So trusting is like saying, I believe things are going to work out. So trusting is saying, my goal is to get a $1 million business. And trusting is saying, I believe I'm going to get that $1 million business. So there's an expectation that I get that specific outcome. So it's having faith in a path that leads to somewhere that I want. Now, allowing is a little bit more radical. Well, it's a lot more radical. It's saying, I will fully engage with whatever shows up, even if it doesn't match what I want. So back to the $1 million business, instead of me forcing something, thinking that, well, I need to go sell 10 vehicles. I'm going to make that effort to sell the 10 vehicles, but if something comes up that takes me off that path, of course, it has to be something that it comes out of alignment. It can't be something dangerous. For example, I'm posting the vehicles, and then someone walks into my office and says, hey, did you know that, what's a good example? Someone walks into my office, someone that I know, and says that someone is here to meet you. Normally, I would say, I'm busy. But at that moment, I allow. They were just wondering. And this actually has happened to me. A random person came into my office a few months ago, and I wasn't even, participating in this challenge. And normally, I don't take meetings during the week, certain days. But this person came, and they just were wandering around, and it was just the weirdest thing. And they ended up just leaving their vehicle that day. And it was a 6-figure transaction where we helped them get into, we built their vehicle for them. And it was just whimsical, so to say. But I allowed. I could have resisted. I could have said, no, this is not the type of person. They don't look like somebody who's going to do anything. They're wasting my time. I need to be doing something else. But I allowed. So when something shows up, fully engage it. As long as it's not dangerous, what we're targeting here is personal preferences. So our personal preferences say, like me, I don't take meetings at certain times. Why? Most of those personal preferences, if they're rooted in fear, they do prevent you from doing things. Another example is if you trust a business deal will succeed, you believe in a positive result. But if you allow, you're prepared to face whatever happens. If the deal succeeds or it fails, knowing that both can offer growth. Whether it works or whether it doesn't work, I'm good. And I think we miss this truth when we only cling, when we only attach to a specific outcome. Another example is trusting a relationship will develop into something that you want. I hope this guy becomes my husband, or I hope this guy becomes this guy becomes my wife. But allowing means that you engage with the relationship as it is today, even if it's not perfect, and be open to whatever unfolds. This person may just be the person that leads you to your wife, leads you to your husband. So trusting is all about hope, but allowing is all about what's in front of me and just letting it go. It's about submission, essentially. It's about trusting without expectation. So what I noticed is there's this law of detachment. And you see it in different areas of life. When you don't want something, it seems like that's when it comes to you. And it goes in line with this allowing. I notice we tend to allow when we have no choice. When we're down to our last dollar, it's like, well, all right, God, whatever you want, I'm gonna let you do it. And that's when we see the miracles. Why does it take those hard times for us to allow? It's almost like allowing will come up when you run out of control, when reality can't bend to your will anymore. But it doesn't have to wait to that moment where you don't have any choice. And our mission is to be proactive allowers, to make it a conscious practice in the midst of different decisions and choices we can make. And that's the difference. When it comes to trust, we usually have options. But allowing, we allow whatever's in front of us. We let it be. And this morning, I had the opportunity to experience firsthand what this challenge is about. I got up. I was prepared to move. Everything was set up last night. I had all my bags packed. And I couldn't find my keys. And I always keep my key in the same place, but this morning I could not find them. So I went through the house. This is about 4:30 in the morning. Well, no, about 5. And I looked everywhere. I had to wake my wife up. And that didn't feel real good. But I couldn't find them. 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Now it's close to 6. And I can start to feel the irritation because now I'm completely off my schedule. It's about 5:45 actually. And then I realized, wait a minute. This is the first day of our challenge. So I stopped. I immediately took some deep breaths and said a quick prayer. And then I realized that what am I actually moving for? What am I rushing for? What am I irritated for? Because this was my personal preference to be somewhere at a certain time to make it my way. And at that point, I realized, God, let it happen according to your way. Let it happen according to the way that you want it to unfold in my life. Because I don't know if me losing this key is preventing me from an accident, if it's preventing me from seeing someone in the gym that I'm not supposed to see, if it's preventing me from something, or it's exposing me to something. I don't know. We don't know. I said the prayer, and I got up, and I'm walking out. And remember, it's still early in the morning, so everywhere is dark. I put the light on, and I feel something hit my toe, and it's my key. You can call it a coincidence. I've evolved past coincidences. I know that key was there waiting for me at that time. And there was a purpose, and I don't know the purpose. In fact, I did run into somebody. Funny enough, yes, I ran into somebody. As I was coming in, he was leaving, and he says, "You're late." And I never see this guy, and we had an interesting conversation. So maybe I had to meet him. I don't know. We don't know. But allowing life to unfold is what this is about. Embracing the uncertainties, the difficulties that come, the opportunities that come. Embracing it all. Jesus said that don't worry about tomorrow. Today has enough. The prayer is, give us today our daily bread. So this challenge is focused on our daily bread. What we have in front of us today. What we're doing today. Tomorrow is going to be fine. And it's not to say that we don't care about tomorrow and we don't plan for tomorrow, but we're not worried. We trust that tomorrow, everything that's prepared for us is going to be there. And that today, we're being impacted with something that's going to equip us for tomorrow. And so for day one, that's where we are. The practice that we'll have every single day, we will engage in a morning meditation. We will also, throughout the day, engage in affirmations. So if you check on the document that was shared in the group, you'll see all of this. And so the morning meditation is, who am I choosing to be today? And declare. You don't have to use these same exact words, but declare who you are. I'm a steward. Everything that's in front of me, God has placed in front of me and within me to steward. I trust that what is mine cannot miss me. The husband, the wife, the business. I release the need to force outcomes, and I allow life to unfold through me, with me, and for me today.